I have a story to tell you about cellular respiration. This story is about Berkeley. And he's a bee that was so busy and he was very creative. He worked in the hive and he one of his jobs was afterwards to sell the honey that his hive made to passerbys in a roadside stand. Well, their honey was pretty amazing. And one of the favorites was honey that was made from black sage. And it was beautiful and light and tasted a bit like heaven. Came from the flowers of the black sage. And it is just like one of those treats you really look forward to. Well, he had two customers come running up to his stand at the end of the day, and guess what? There was only one jar of honey left, and they both wanted it. One had an employee appreciation day, one had a dinner party, and Berkeley thought, what should I do? And it made him think. He had just taught cellular respiration to his son, Beckett. And the 6-carbon chain of glucose reminded him of the cells, the wax cells of the hive. And he thought, hey, glucose is much like honey. This is the picture that he drew for his son, Beckett. And he had all the 4 stages of cellular respiration in it, starting with glycolysis. And he started to think as he was separating his honey how they relate. So I'll just share that with you. So glycolysis is sugar splitting. And it is done in an anaerobic state. And phosphate group is attached to this 6-carbon chain. And if you think of phosphate, it's kind of like energy. And then when you add this, then you get ADP, which is kind of like an idea. It's almost like it's the thing right before the energy happens. Well, he was about ready to split his honey in half, and he realized he didn't have 2 jars that would fit the honey. He only had 6 jars. So he was going to be able to give each customer 3 each. And he thought, what a coincidence. It's just like the 3-carbon molecules of pyruvate. His customers were going to be so happy. So this is the one that was going to have the dinner party, and this is the one that she was going to wrap hers up for her employee appreciation. And they were super excited. And he thought, again, how much like that was this process. So from glycolysis, it's done in the cytosol. We've got 2 ADPs plus a phosphate, and that's like ideas and energy, and that equals ATP. So in order to do this, it takes 2 AT, but you make 4 ATP, so you really get 2 ATP from this. And then also, you got the 2 NAD, and he thought about that. He's like, oh wait, let me look at my notes. Oh, this is like not anymore distressed. And when it's reduced, which means built up, so he ended up with 2 not anymore distressed humans with plus H plus is like with honey, with sweet honey. So he's like, this is so cool. And the 2 molecules of the 3-carbon pyruvate, just to sum this up, uses 2 ATP and it keeps 2 ATP. So you got that, and that's the part of glycolysis. As they were driving away, though, he thought, like, I could keep going with this. This is like such a neat thing. He knew that one was going to add honey to his honey biscuits and for his dinner party. And he's like, that's kind of like transition reaction, the next stage, where, and this happens in the mighty mitochondria. So two molecules of the 2-carbon molecule pyruvate, just like dropping maybe like 2 drops of honey in, you get acetyl CoA. He's like, that's kind of like the biscuits. And then you get the NADH plus H plus. And he's like, ooh, that's kind of like the not anymore distressed human plus honey. Like, honey is the cure-all. But it's also releasing CO2. And that's like the steam off these cookies. I was like, this is really, really cool. He was getting tired, though. He was getting ready for bed that evening, and he was thinking, I'm still thinking this relates to citric acid cycle. And he was like, okay, so you got these biscuits, acetyl-CoA, and it enters into a cycle, the citric acid cycle. Sometimes it's called the Krebs cycle. And then you get 8 never, no, not never, I wrote this down, not anymore distressed humans, plus 2, and he was thinking that could be like the wife, firmly, absolutely delighted human. I mean, what wife wouldn't be happy with her husband making biscuits, right? So this ends up with 2 ATPs, so even more energy because they're just so happy, and 4 CO2s released. And that's like, again, the steam coming off. So you got this energy and these 2 people super happy. And he's like, this is getting pretty amazing. Okay, my mind's really working. What about the electron transport chain that also happens in the mitochondria? This is where the major energy comes from. I mean, the other stuff was pretty cool, but this is like major. And he was thinking, okay, so we've got this not anymore distressed human with honey, plus the firmly, absolutely delighted human, like twice over, because she's so happy. And it oxidizes, which means the oxygen bonds with the hydrogen. I think he's getting tired. It's hard for him to remember what he taught his kid. But down here, we've got the oxygen bonding with the hydrogen and water. Water's super cool. And then it oxidizes, and you end up with some very satisfied, not anymore distressed, and firmly, absolutely delighted people. And 34 ATPs from honey, or if you're relating it to cellular respiration, glucose. So he went to bed pretty excited and pretty exhausted, and he slept like a busy bee would, just bountifully happy and well rested for the next day. And that's the end. All right, thanks.